Hello everybody, and a warm welcome back to Late Breakers Club. My name is Zabi, and I'll be on the commentary mic once again as we are live for round 7 here at the Qatar Grand Prix. That has been postponed in real life because of the issues going on in the world, but we're going to be racing here just like we did a couple of rounds ago in Bahrain, which was, let's say, it was postponed as well. I don't think Qatar's actually postponed. I think Saudi's postponed with Bahrain, but unsure about Qatar yet. I think so, if my information is correct. So there we go. Just before we get started out on the track, there's a couple of bit of information before looking at the championship standing. So at the moment, it is obviously round 7 at Qatar. No formation lap for the race. So this time we know already we wouldn't be forgetting that. Or Elmo, Orimas, and Black Sharks all have engine penalties, which means a quali ban for them. So a qualified ban. That means only one thing. They will not be allowed to come out on track. They will not be allowed to be out on track and set up a lap time on the board while we are here. And from last week, I've limited the frame rates, so simply, you know, just get us what we need, about 150, 160 when we go out on track. Last week it was about over 300, 330, or probably 400, but we don't even need that. So possibly just you know, limit that, and hopefully if internet holds up, we should be having a good quality. We might have technical issues, so bear in mind, but it should be fine. So Elmo won last race at Brazil, as it was. Elmo and Ferrari are leading the championships. Elmo leading for Ferrari in the World Drivers' Championship, and World Constructors' Championship is led by Ferrari. So let's get that out on the track. Let's get the information of... Oh, I don't think we actually will have, though, because we might need to... Yep. Oh, no, in fact, we have this exact one's chosen. So look at that. That's going to be in front of your screens, and I'd assume that it is the latest one. So hopefully that's going to be in front of your screen there to look at. So in the driver standings, it's so small, so I have to actually open it separately myself. To look at it, basically, it is Elmo leading ahead of Luco in P2. 126 points to Elmo in these first 6 rounds, but Luco on 86. Then it is Stephen Jones on 73, followed by Orimas on 66. Then comes Nate on P5 at 53 points, followed by Clen on 45 points, followed by 43 to Oni, 2 points separating the two drivers, with JP, who has got 38. 21 to War, and 17 to Watson in 10th place. Potts in P11 with 16 points, 6 points ahead of Ghost, who's got 10 in P12. While Kais and Jamie have got 8 points each in P13 and 14. Then it is E1, Christie, and Dark, all drivers, along with Minecrafter, with 2 points, with Arthur Whistle with 1 point, and everybody ahead after him on no points just yet. So there's going to be drivers on the track, but before we just go out, we got to look at the teams and the drivers' championship. And the constructors' title, it is Ferrari who lead ahead of Red Bull in P2 with 134 points to Ferrari, 108 to Red Bull, and 107 to McLaren. So only 2 points separated by the two teams are. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least. Well, Mercedes in 4th place with 69 points, Sauber on 26, 19 for Haas, 16 for Alpine, 14 for Aston Martin, and then Racing Bulls have got 8, and Williams have got 4. Right then, let's not waste any time and get out on the track and have a look at what we have in front of our screens. There is drivers, and there is many drivers in this session, 18 drivers, and there is many of them who are already on a flying lap. Pretty much every single one of them is on a flying lap right there, apart from a few of them who are yet to come out of the pits. It's only Elmo who's got Coliban, along with Orimas and Dark as well, I believe. It was Black Sharks, actually. I think it wasn't Dark Mill. Potts goes top of the timing charts ahead of everybody, setting up the time of the session so far. Can anybody beat him up? Yes, Knapp can, and then Jones can as well. Up in that McLaren, up at the top of the timing sheet in P1, while Black Sharks, I was told, had Coliban. So indeed he is. He's not going to set up a lap time on the board. Eventually he will have a lap time on the board. So technically that would put him ahead of those who do not put a time on the board. But still, it's going to be about what information do we have. Well, one Al Williams, then comes the Alpine and Nab still in P2 with Turbo in P3 so far. While the Haas of Glenn goes top of the timing chart. Up ahead of everybody in P1, 121.6169, and it is 122.169, and it is Kais in the RB, 122.498. Well, Jones is 22.537. And Nab is 22.892. So a lot of drivers on those flying laps right there. Meanwhile, it's going to be Jamie all the way down in P15. How do we go towards Jamie? They're going to quickly switch up to see. No, in fact, it's not Jamie. It would have been their teammate Orimas, I believe, in the other Mercedes. And yep, they are coming into the pit lane. Who is next over the line? We will see come over the line and do a time on the board. Nobody yet. Jones is, but Jones currently on an invalidated lap. That would mean that they're only going to be starting now, while we have the other McLaren of, I believe, not the other McLaren, but the other Mercedes of Jamie, but they're going to come into the pits as well since they have invalidated their lap time right here. Who do we have next time, though? Because we do have somebody coming over the line, and it will be Len Ellen in that Williams coming into the pit lane then. So that is interesting. What about Black Sharks? They're going to come into the pits as well, while the Ferrari of Cardiff into the pits as well after a time of 123.48, 448. Brilliant. So in these graphics of F1 25, sure, we saw it. Actually, I saw him. We saw him on PlayStation before, but on PC it just seems a little bit more better. Obviously, with more frame rates. Although, you know, the games on the PlayStation are quite optimized, but still, they feel quite better. And actually, this logo is completely out of where it should be. All right, and also I need to make sure that whole screen is visible and whole game is basically visible on the screen. If it's not, we might have to switch it up. And now that is an issue here. Well, we slightly need to just make this small. I didn't have this set up from other streams, so apologies about that. Just a bit of technical issues slightly here. Yeah, basically I have a single monitor, so it's the case of different things right there. As I think I've got a chat in my YouTube. Okay, it disappeared. I think I did have a chat in my YouTube stream, if I'm not mistaken. I might need to search that up though, because I basically don't have the chat of YouTube here. But that's nice if we actually do have the chat from my YouTube, and yes, we do. As not sure what exactly is going on. All right, that's the boys. I was thinking something's wrong, but in fact, no, that is a couple of people. All right, so 10 minutes into this session are remaining at the moment. Well, we have the Aston Martin of E1, I believe, currently out on the track. Yep, they are out on the track right there. Black Sharks into the pits. They should have stayed in the pits. They've got a qualifying ban right there. Well, we have Jones currently out on the board. They've done over 3 laps on those soft tires, so it's only right they're going to come into the pits as well. So 13 drivers so far have a time on the board with, I believe, Luco, Orimas, and Black Sharks with a qualifying ban to their name, as we're going to have to figure out Yep, it is Black Sharks, Orimas, and Elmo with engine penalties. So qualifying ban for them, while Luco is not going to wait for anybody as he goes top of the timing charts. 121.830, fastest of them all. What about Cardiff? The Cardiff's just going to be beginning their lap, while Elmo has retired, obviously, qualifying ban. So anyways, they will not be coming out on the track. But do we have Jamie now going over the line as well in that other Mercedes? They've just begun and started their lap at the moment. Well, we have that's the RB of Dark, but they're currently quite slow. What about the eventually the Haas of Whistle, currently in P11 as well, 3 seconds down, but that certainly means they are on a outlap right there, while E1 is going to come into the pits at the moment. So it's about the case of what we are about to get. Sorry about that, I was just about to read the chat. From basically, streams are on, and I don't think we actually left any of the links in the Discord, which we should have. As there's going to be the Alpine of, the Williams of L1. Almost, I would have thought they're going left and right, but that's pretty much the internet they're struggling because of. While there is a Red Bull, one of them is Oni, who's into the pits. And it's Luco. Currently fastest of anybody so far, and the only single driver in the 121s at the moment as it stands. Kai's in the RB, the previous time of 122.498. How good is that going to be? Meanwhile, one man who is about to show us how good can they be. Cardiff on the screen and goes up to P8, so just a position better than they previously were. And what about Jamie? That's going to be 13th fastest for them. And I think there is an Alpine who we might need to look at. No, there's only one Alpine in the session. In fact, there is two indeed, not one. But that was going to be Bob, who have possibly just started their lap right now as it stands for the moment. While Glenn in P2 at the moment without obviously with a lap time on the board, but not on a flying lap currently. So 7.5 minutes remain at the moment with Kai's currently on the track, and he has invalidated, so that means he's going to get nothing out of this, but probably this wouldn't have been the intended lap either. He's going to go again and only now go after racing, go after performance right on this lap after warming up their tyres. That's going to help them, benefit them from all they've got, while the Alpine or Borp is quite far away. It would have been the Williams, and it was indeed the Williams of Nab, currently in P6 so far, going after a lap. And do we have Clem starting their lap? Yes, we do. Well, as far as the McLarens are concerned, they're going to be coming or to start the flying lap, both the two teammates. So it only means one thing, and it sure does, as Jones is ahead of Black Sharks. But that is interesting because at the moment, I wonder if Jones is ahead yet. No, he is not. All right, that's it. So surely Black Sharks got qualifying ban, but he's still out on the track. I'm not sure why, because he's sure he's helping his teammate, but technically if you do have a qualifying ban, you shouldn't even be allowed to possibly come out on the track. And even not sure how classification was going to be, considering, you know, those with qualifying bans. But if he does have a qualifying ban and then sets up the lap time, he's at least going to be able to start ahead of those who have a ban as well. It's Orimas. Luco's retired of the session. Orimas is still sitting in the pits, so sure, you could say he could get a bit of practice in, but obviously that engine penalty that gets you a no qualifying result at all. That makes it a one to forget at the moment. We should have the Haas, and we do have the Haas of Glenn. And I'd possibly believe once again it would be the time and in the intention of simply going out, warming up the tires. So possibly Qatar, you know, not a lot of, like, let's say high braking zones. It's going to come into the pits, possibly invalidated, that's why. But otherwise, you know, Jones now in the pits as well. Drivers usually take a bit of a lap or two more to get themselves a chance, and only then go a little bit better than what they could or they have done already. And that's going to be Oni in the Red Bull. Could go up to P2, 122.111, and that's a Red Bull 1-2 here in the session, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, in the constructors fight, Red Bull is fighting McLaren there, 1 point separating the two teams, so it is really important for Red Bull to stay where they are and at least stay in P2, or even have a chance of fighting against Ferrari this weekend with Elmo, who has won the last 2 races as far as I could remember correctly, is down in P19 without a time on the board and a qualifying ban. He's most certainly going to be starting at the very end of this grid. So for him to catch up to the front of the field will all be the time and an opportunity for those who are not yet done to get it done and possibly have themselves a chance. The two Red Bulls possibly fighting against the McLarens and the Mercedes. McLaren, remember, only one car in the top 5 as well, with Cardiff in the Ferrari down in P10 and Jones in P5 at the moment. So that would certainly allow him to get a chance. Well, Cardiff's now out on track in that first sector. In fact, it says 3/10, but possibly I believe they would have done that on the previous flying lap, but not right now, so that would certainly mean it's out and about at the moment. Well, now this should get exciting in these remaining moments of qualifying. It could possibly get exciting right here, but honestly, it's simply Glenn. You could get closer to the 2 Red Bulls, and we have lost connection. I'm not sure whether the stream's going to be gone as well. Yep, it is indeed gone, so we should be trying to come back within a couple of moments once again, and indeed the stream has lost out as well, so we should be getting another invitation, I guess. Simply our internet decided to go down. Hopefully we should be back within a couple of moments in the game and back out on the stream as well, but that's out and about. We were to have technical issues. It was I'm not sure if I actually announced it or not earlier, but we should be back within a couple of moments. Just in a bit of it. Hello everybody, and there we go. Apologies about that, as I was just having a technical bit of difficulties, but hopefully we're going to be okay on this one. It was basically have a bit of a fast and a clearer picture, but for a little bit of a time, or have a slightly compromised quality, but then possibly have it consistent, have it all the time. Right, we don't even have the game screen, but I think, yeah, now we should be on that one right there. As soon as we have an invite, we should be back in the session. Just a second before we get one. Well, there we go. We have got an invitation, and we should be now back out. All right, not there. We want to be joining the session and out on the track B, and hopefully I think it should be all okay. There we go. We are now out on the end of it. I think it should be with only a couple of minutes before the qualifying ends, and I think now it would just be the final couple of seconds even in those moments, and should be the final laps out on the track, and already it says it has ended. So possibly by the time we get there, we're just going to catch up with the race start, because as it stands, it is got the qualifying has pretty much now ended. Or all right, no longer available. Interestingly, so that's interesting now. Said by the team, but it's interesting. I think we'd have a go. We'd have a look at it to see what we're gonna be doing. Right, there we go. The session is still there, but it's the qualifying result. But so I think we should simply be going in now. We're trying to spectate it and go in there, but I think something's wrong here, because apparently at the moment we are alright, so it says stop spectating or spectate. We are currently spectating, but not quite sure what exactly going wrong. But now we should be back in the session, and it is alright. So we've got 27. Pretty much the qualifying has now ended, and it'll be about 5 minutes, 5 whole minutes before we start and be out on the track right there. So it should not be too long, but just a couple of minutes of break. Unsure what exactly went down in qualifying because of issues we had, but eventually it shouldn't be too long before we are there. And yep, indeed we are there. If someone could get us actually get us those results from qualifying, but even if not, we should be fine, and it should rather be okay. We should be getting started. There's no formation lap, so make sure, you just need to make sure that we're ready and all okay to go when it gets started, and wasting no time. And I'm not sure if it's actually whole of the screen is showing up on. I don't think it is, basically, in the OBS. I might need to fix that right there, because eventually OBS has decided to not show full of... Oh, yep, it is not eventually. So it was a lot of it missing. Pretty much the right side is going to be missing now, but I think that's rather fine if we at least have whole of it. And we would keep it. I'll just keep an eye if there's a bit of an issues, but hopefully there should be not. And we will be back as soon as we're about to get started in the remaining 4 minutes. Right, then just 2 minutes now remain of what should be a fantastic round 7, and Qatar Grand Prix race will start in 2 minutes' time. And during that, it should be a fantastic race indeed. While we have a couple of things to look at, I mean, Elmo, Arimas, along with Black Sharks, the 3 drivers with a qualifying with an engine penalty. That means a technically qualifying ban. So that would mean it is them at the bottom of the stable. With before the time we got disconnected, it was Oni and the other Red Bull driver on pole. So it was the Red Bull 1-2, and Red Bull's definitely got a good chance to fight McLaren with 1 driver at the bottom. Same to fight Ferrari as well, who they have got a driver at the bottom as well. So this is about to get exciting in these moments. And the Qatar Grand Prix laps, as we just have 1 more minute, no formation lap. So as soon as we're out in the track, it should be 5 red lights, and we should be ready to go racing. And there we go, we're out on the track right there. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights, and we go racing here at the Qatar Grand Prix. It's going to be all on as we go racing with Luco on pole and Oni in P2. It's a brilliant start from Luco, starting up, heading towards turn 1. It's going to be Jones in P3, and Clan has been jumped up into turn 1 in P4. Kai's in P5 there, with Nab in P6 up at the front of this field as it starts. Turbo in P7 now. E1 has been disqualified from the session already for parking in the dangerous location. Cardiff now down in P12, while it is Jamie in P14 losing positions. It is Whistle who has gained a couple of places right there. Elmo is already up to P15 and now P14. He's going side by side with one of the Williams there, and McLaren of Black Sharks right there as well. Orimas in P17. I think Ethan might have a qualifying ban as well. I'm not quite sure with that engine penalty up his way, but he has got nothing, as not set up a time as well. I think he was pretty much down, and at least didn't set up a time until we had a look at it. So as it stands, then look at it. It is a mix-up of tires. Qatar usually is quite tricky on these tires, and tire degradation around here is crazy. So for the 29 laps of racing in Qatar, it is a mix-up of all tires. Only 2 drivers, Oni and Whistle, starting on the soft compound tire, where everybody else from P1 to P6, all on the medium compound tyre, apart from Oni, who's on the soft. Then it is the hard tyres for Turbo, Potts, Borp, and Dark till P11 with the soft on Whistle's car. Then it is Evo, Jamie, Elmo, and Cardiff on a set of medium tyres. Cardiff is down in the pit lane, while Sharks, Orimas, and Ethan all on that set of hard compound tyres, while it is Ellen and Jamie are fighting. Ellen and the Williams have been moving around and legging a lot quite throughout the session right there. Well, at the back, it's going to be Elmo for a moment. We nearly thought they're going to be through and up into the next session, but not yet right there. Lap 2 out of 29. Well, the top 2 are going to be at it. I think Oni would have started, possibly starting on the soft tyre to give himself a chance for the jump on his teammate, but he hasn't been able to do that or get that jump just yet. Just right there, so it will be the case of whether he could get it or not right now. While at the very bottom of this field, it is Black Sharks, Elmo, and all these guys fighting at it, as Black Sharks now right behind the Williams of LN, who's been moving around, and there's going to be Black Sharks round the outside of LN there, and Black Sharks will get past LN, and move will be done. And again, there was a Ghosted Williams of LN, as he's absolutely legging like crazy, and Elmo is into the pits as he's got his front wing end plate damaged, so not quite sure what is going on. Meanwhile, one thing has happened, and it is going on, and that is a fight for the race lead, as Oni takes the lead from his teammate on lap 3 out of 29 into the first sector, to the end of the sector, into the middle one we go. It is these guys racing, and the top two in the team in the lead are at it and racing all fantastically. While them are there right there, so at the moment it's P4 for Glenn in so far, just ahead of Kais and Nab, with Jones in P3 so far. So pretty much a lot of drivers within the DRS range, but kind of the DRS trains where we are, that we are used to seeing. We're pretty much seeing that DRS train right here as well, and I think it's one of the Aston Martin drivers. It must have been E1 who got disqualified in the Aston Martin, says their wheel was disconnected on the team radio, so that is it. And interesting thing we're about to look at is the two Ferrari teammates at the very bottom. Cardiff just 5/10 behind his teammate Elmo. Now Elmo, because of an engine penalty, is starting at the very back and hasn't had the start that he would have been looking for, while Turbo is going to be looking for a move into turn 1 on Potts there. Turbo goes round the outside, gets the move done on Potts, and overtake is on so far. So on a soft tyre, I think Oni and Vissel there, so that soft tyre is probably not going to last them many laps, but as far as let's last them, there's going to be a chance for them to keep it going, while Whistle then going to have to back out and actually loses out to both the drivers, as Potts now has overtaken Turbo back again, and Turbo up to P7 now. He will surely have, Potts up to P7, Turbo ahead of Turbo. Turbo now will have a chance to go back on Potts there, while you go back to the top of the table, and these drivers in P2 and 3, well, it's the two teammates. Oni now has lost out that first place again from his teammate, while Jones, Oni's got a 2-second time penalty. That makes things interesting right there. Jones in P3, while Clint in P4. 6/10 the two drivers are separated by. Is Oni going to be losing time? And he's surely, in fact, Oni is, but so is Jones. And now Glenn is going to be absolutely closer to Jones there. This could get exciting into it. It's down 1. Glenn is going to send his car to the inside. And who's going to be the bravest of drivers? They brilliantly go through. They're still side by side, wheel to wheel between the two, as they're nearly going to tap up. And Jones almost spun himself round and ruined Glenn's race, but they just about safely got out of it without a huge time loss, as they are now 1.2 seconds to Oni ahead. Although Oni's on the soft tyre, he's losing to his teammate, but he's gaining to the cars behind him, because those guys are fighting each other, and they're only doing Oni a good here, because otherwise, if they do not fight and go at it, they might be doing themselves a bit of good, but at the moment, they are kind of harmed more rather than benefit so far in this one. Well, lap 5 out of 29 right there. Glenn in P3. Jones in P4, then it is Kais in P6 with Kais in P5, Nab in P6, Potts in P8 there with other Whistle in P9. It's out and about of what we've got and what we're about to get right there. While Orimas in P13, just ahead of his teammate Jamie, and behind Black Sharks in the McLaren. This is going to be getting exciting. Well, so is this one getting exciting, as Kais is going to go for a ton. This in the inside line of Jones there. They're going to be side by side. Jones lost to Glenn, is about to lose to Kais as well. So now that is interestingly exciting right here. although we would have thought the soft tire runners are going to be dropping down, they are not. And Jones is, despite starting on the medium compound tire. Sure, that soft tire, we don't say that's going to be too good, but it's still going to be simply the case of possible, you know, in a two-stop race, a soft tire by lap 5, lap 6 is going to be absolutely out of grip. So I think possibly now the soft tire runners are going to come into the pits. But 29 laps of racing here, and we're just 6 laps in, possibly, sure, it's almost 30 laps. It's almost a case of, you know, a single lap separating, but definitely those starting on the soft have no chance of a one stop. Same goes for those who have already pitted in this race. Well, only 2 drivers have pitted, and it's the 2 Ferraris of Elmo and Cardiff. Elmo at the moment in P16, while Cardiff down in P18 on 4-lap old hards, while Elmo on 3-lap old hard tires right there. Well, penalties, it's 3 seconds to all Ellen, Bob and Oni. Meanwhile, there might be a chance for Glenn to be getting closer, and Glenn is indeed getting closer, and definitely those soft tires are now going to be giving up on that Red Bull, and that'll help the Haas of Glenn. Glenn has been flying recently, and certainly has flied all over. Orimas has gained a couple of places. He gains another one, 5 places up. So is Black Sharks with Whistle, who is also 4 places up as well. So other Whistle, maybe, just maybe you'd say that usually might have not thought he's not going to be one of the best or competitive drivers. He currently surely is showing that competitiveness so far. Meanwhile, Elmo puts up the fastest time of the session so far, 1:25.131. Fastest lap of this race, so definitely fastest man out on the track right now. For how long that's going to be the case, though, because he's over 12.4 seconds behind the car in front of him. So quite a gap to the car in front. So possibly, I think, 2 Ferraris along with the Williams of Ellen. Probably a safety car here that could save them. That's pretty much what I think going to be the case. Well, Potts has got a penalty, currently in P8, trying to follow up ahead of it, while Oni now comes into the pits. So first of the soft tire runners now into the pit lane as it stands right there, while we see a couple of more drivers now. In fact, there's only nobody else in, as Cardiff now gets a 3-second time penalty as well. So penalties coming up their way. Where is Oni going to get out of this pit lane right here? And that's going to be down in P14. Whereas Ellen, though Ellen is quite far behind there. So possibly pitting from P2, exiting in P14. But making those soft tires last for about 8 laps is a fantastic job. I mean, sure, it's night time to possibly less degradation, and then also tire temperatures, because sometimes the tires heat up and that really ruins your chances of a strategy, and the soft tire is really the worst to be running in those hotter track temperatures. But I think usually Qatar is, and Cardiff has retired out of this session, so getting a penalty, not really getting the start to this race they would have wished for. So this weekend for Ferrari goes bad from while their championship leader is down in P16. Cardiff, who was in P18 and last of the running cars, has retired out of this session as well. So Ferraris are not having the best of times right here. And as far as racing's concerned, we should be having these guys race up quite nice right there. Well, we have, I think, we don't have an information yet from Cardiff, although for why they would have retired. Well, Black Sharks is now in P10 ahead of Orimas, while Orimas in P11. Let's actually have a look at what tire Oni went through. So Oni's went up for a medium tire, would have made the most sense. I think soft, medium, possibly, if you're going for a 2-stop here. But if you could make the soft tire last for like 7 laps, that's the medium tire at least lasting you 13 to 14 laps then. You never know though. So possibly, if that's the case, a possible one-stop strategy around here, because this game has been not inconsistent, but some tracks there will be a lot of tire degradation. Some tracks there wouldn't be much, and it's the case of what we have and what not, and what we're going to be able to get in terms of the opportunity and chances in front of our hands. Well, these drivers, I mean, only 9 laps in, so not even halfway into this race. Well, their driver's quite close, but there isn't much moves happening. Well, Orimas within half a second of Blackjacks there. Now might be a chance, now might be a possible opportunity for one of the cars in front, or drivers making moves. Well, one of the drivers, that's Whistle on the soft tire, comes into the pits, and in 8th gear, cars are screaming revs, and that's going to be Nab. It's going to Gombo, who's going to get past Turbo there. And definitely this is a bug on PC, I'd say, because, yep, they're racing out, and obviously they're not going to be screaming those revs and changing the gear when needed. But on PlayStation, that one has not been there, or at least I haven't seen it. I've seen this one on F1 24 a couple of months ago when it used to be active. You know, simply that one being on PC for me as well. So definitely, I think now this is more a PC-oriented, let's say, bug rather than a game, you know, platform. Basically, a platform bug. To put it to the best. Kais in P3 so far, with Glenn in P2, Turbo in P6 as well, so he's not got much gap to the Williams ahead. Is the Williams costed? No, it surely isn't. And this could get exciting right there. A lot of drivers within half a second of each other, and that is Potts, who's absolutely closer to Turbo there. So as soon as that DRS gets enabled, the chance will be there, and I think that's Kais who's going to get past Glenn. Both of them on 10-lap-old medium tires. This lap they'll make it 11 laps, and all interestingly, definitely a one-stop is possible here, and all those starting on the hard compound tire or the medium would possibly go for a one stop unless they come into the pits now. And Whistles went for another set of soft tires. That is interesting for Whistle there, because that is quite a tire to fit in at this point in time. Ooh, that's going to be Nab into the back of Potts, nearly making Potts lose the car. Turbo's going to pull away from these guys as Turbo is taking the overtake on them, and it is Potts who nearly lost it. Well, Nab went into the back of him. Black Sharks now behind these guys as well, along with Orimas, who is 5/10 behind Black Sharks as well. So all within half a second of Black Sharks nearly going to go for it around the outside of the Williams there, and he doesn't need to worry about braking or making the corner safely, as he'll just sweep past the Williams up to P7, and Nab is going to have to settle for 8 right now so far. So lap 11 out of 29, pretty much going towards lap 50. It's 14 and 15 now within a couple of them, so halfway distance soon, while Jones is losing positions, and Jones is indeed losing positions. Well, Black Sharks is going to move up and jump up to the top, and not sure what happened to Johns there though. Has he lost out a place, or has he lost out because of a mistake fighting the cars in front? Let's see if they have a front wing replacement. They certainly don't, so I'm not sure what happened to them, but maybe, possibly they would have simply just lost the car. And I think even if they've done about 11 laps on those medium tires, now it's only best and only right they do the remaining laps on this hard compound tire. So now it's the case. Elmer, remember, pitted very early in this race for a set of hard tires, and they've already pitted, so possible pretty much it's the one stop that's going to be for them remaining in the race. It's going to be becoming 2 stops, but if they were to start and never pit, it would have been a 1 stop for them as well, and simply the biggest reason for them to be doing this, or that pit stop, was a front wing damage. I believe that front wing end plate damage, and pretty much anyways, you know, they would have rather simply pitted, you know, anyways, being at the pretty much at the back of it, outside the top 15 at the start of the race. So it was a case of just, you know, you got nothing to lose, might as well just go for it and have a chance and hope that it's going to turn in up your way. So 12 laps from Luca, 12 laps from Glenn on these medium tires as well. What about Potts on the hard tire? Also, a lot would depend, those on the hards, for how many laps do they continue though, because those starting on the mediums could possibly pit in, you know, then scrape a couple of laps later on the hards. But those on the hards, it's going to be interesting as now Potts leads the Qatar Grand Prix. And there's going to be Black Sharks who takes the lead and snatches it from Potts. There as Potts going to come up to P2. Anyways, that was to happen. Whether everybody pitting was going to allow them to take the lead or not, that move was up for grabs, and definitely that move indeed was up for it to be gained. And definitely somebody already, indeed, I think, so I was saying some driver has a lag, and indeed they do have a lag. It is Ellen, I believe, as I think they have been issued a warning as well that unfortunately that issue could possibly make it a warning or a hazard for cars out on the track, because that lag could be really inconsistent if it spikes up at the wrong time. It could really go against these drivers, as Ethan is currently on a outlap, but then also not an outlap. I think they might be out of the session here because their car is ghosted, and that means they are out of the session, while Orimas on older hard compound tires. As I was about to say, that it'll depend if these guys could do about 13 to 14, 15 to 16 laps on these hard compound tires. As Orimas will now get past Potts as well, up to P2. Black Sharks is your new race leader currently at the moment, leads the Bahrain Grand Prix, but remember has not pitted. Oni, who pitted ahead of everybody, and Oni has actually managed to undercut his teammate as well, although that tire deficit is quite visible. 6 lap on that mediums, 1 lap on that hard tire. So that's the case, but at least that undercut has worked. And as far as the two Haas drivers are concerned, it is the Haas of Clan who's down in P9, so pretty much only one driver ahead of him. That is Bob, who is not yet pitted in this race. Obviously, those from Dark all the way from Sharks to Dark have not pitted as well, but this would technically mean a P1 to P4 for Clan, which he pretty much was in P3, I believe, earlier. So a possible, let's say, it's the case of simply losing out that, and he has indeed lost out to at least Kais. I believe Kais also overtook him on the track as well, so it's not that he's lost out a lot. And now it's time. It is going to be time for Black Sharks on that hard compound tire to come into the pits, while Bob gets a 3-second time penalty while everybody else stays out. Oni's into the pits as well. No, in fact, that's Black Sharks indeed. It's not Oni. I for a moment thought he was Oni, but no. Not in the pits as he gets on to a set of brand new medium tires, hoping for him to go to the end of this race, while Bob is now going to come into the pits as well. Where we go to the top of these timing charts so far in this race, and that'll be Orimas, who leads ahead of Potts in P2, followed by Dark in P3. Then comes Oni and Lucas. Oni's undercut his teammate, pitting a very early stop on lap 7, I believe, or at the end of lap 7 into lap 8, which obviously pretty much was, simply a stop to make it a 2-stop race for them, which obviously is going to be the case right there. Well, now only 3/10 separated by these guys, Dark and Potts to Oni there. So possibly whether these guys pit or not, Oni anyways is going to be getting past them. And I think Oni, let's say that medium tire, maybe he could scratch that medium tire for a little bit, but I think maximum he could go, like, let's say everybody went 11 laps, he could go like lap 12 maybe. So about 5 laps he's then anyways going to have to pit for possibly another pit stop, and I think he's going to go again. Yep, he's already going to go. So interestingly, he's going to be on the same lap on the medium tire as he was on that soft compound tire. So definitely now, possibly, I believe I said, oh, interesting, I said a medium, so I would have possibly up for a set of hards. But yeah, interesting, I think 14 laps now, possibly a lot of confidence from everybody trying to do 14 laps on the mediums, but definitely I think it's going to be the case of it. And I think it kind of will be a safety car window as well, although safety car around Qatar is really unlikely because of, you know, simply of how it is, and you know, safety car around here. Simply, unless drivers crash into each other, there's like no way that somebody would crash here around Qatar because of so much runoff areas. Remember, you know, this one actually used to be a MotoGP circuit, so not a lot of closed walls and many opportunities for overtakes as well. Well, Luco is in now P3 with Kai's in P4 and Glenn in P5. And, okay, Vissel's obviously going to have to pit, but Elmo should be coming into the pits within a couple of laps now, having 13 laps on that hard tyre. Although now he possibly should pit with it next this lap or the lap after for a set of medium tyres that could see them come into, that could see them go to the end of this race nice and easy. And as far as those tyres are concerned, lap position 8 for Jones right now at the moment, P9 for Black Sharks with the DRS available on Sharks' car. It's going to try and get past Jones. Remember, Sharks had a qualifying ban, but he's currently on newer tyres than his team, and obviously the medium tyre is always going to be faster on that from that hard compound tyre in the early laps, and he certainly is doing a brilliant job at the moment. While we go back to the leaders, it is Orimas, who's now only 4.2 seconds to Luco. So Orimas is definitely, he might just be going for a soft tyre here. Not quite sure, but technically he could indeed go for a soft tyre end here, because you never know. But he's still over 16 laps. I mean, definitely if he goes for a hard tyre, sorry, medium tyre, let's say right now, it's definitely going to give him a better chance than everybody else. Simply because biggest reason would be that he's got a chance, and then let's say the chance of, you know, for him to have a better medium tyres at the end of it. So now 17 at the end of this lap. It's going to be 18 laps to every on these medium tyres. Although he's going to lose time to let's say, you know, cars behind and everything, but that'll only benefit him in terms of what he can do. And what he certainly can do is, let's say, even if he drops down outside the top 10 or somewhere around there, he's going to still have the opportunity to recover back. But I think he can't delay it more than lap 20 though, because sure, he can on one hand he wants to do a one stop, but on the other he will be losing way too much time, and then trying to recover in those remaining laps, it would just be, it won't be impossible, but the thing is, it'll be really difficult, and you'd need to be like absolutely epic speed that you need to have, and be like so quick to have a chance and really, you know, be yourself, or kind of, if you have to stay open on what you can do. And now look at that, only 2.1 seconds between Luco and Orimas. Obviously, unless Orimas wants to run his own race and doesn't care about it. Because obviously, looking at this now, I mean, let's have a look at his positions. He's definitely going to come into the pits now. He's gone 16 places up, so he nearly started at the very bottom of the grid. That's about P17, I believe, he would have started in. So definitely, as long as he's within a couple of those places, or I don't think so, because it's going to be getting closer. Black Sharks is now going to have the opportunity on Vessel, who's on all 8-lap old soft compound tires. Is always going to be slower as Black Sharks gets past Vessel as well. Black Sharks, remember, also started at the bottom of the grid as well. Is certainly down up into P4. Elmo, who has pitted for another set of hards, is down in P15. Maybe doesn't have a set of mediums remaining. And Orimas is down in P9. I think he will take that as a win-win situation, with the next car only 7 tenths ahead of him. That is Potts. And if he could catch up to Oni, that would be a brilliant recovery from Orimas there, trying to go long on those hard tires, just like Black Sharks. That's a nice one. Although Black Shark, let's say, has done 4 laps on those soft tires, and at the end of this lap it'll be 5 laps, so he's going to have to do almost 15 laps on those medium tires, let's say, to go to the end of this race. So it'll be absolutely difficult for him to make it work, but if he can make it work, that'll certainly be a nice one for sure, because it's again the case of if you can get it, brilliant, but if you cannot, that's fine. You are anyways not going to be getting it, right? So it's just a case of try and get it, but if you don't, that's okay, because we've got nothing much to lose right there, while Potts is going to try and defend, or at least get away from Orimas's way, and Orimas will say thank you very much, I'm going to be getting past you, and the overtake is done. Orimas up to P7 on only 1 lap old medium tires. If laps allow, and so does speed, that tire is going to be the best he can be on at this point and time in this race, while it is Elmo and Orimas at the very end of these laps so far. Elmo, our championship leader, will be scoring no points from this weekend. So will Ferrari, at least at the moment, though, as it stands. Unless he could recover it and get up to P10, he can be getting points. But so far in P13, so no points for Ferrari. McLaren, possibly, seems to be the strongest team so far, with P4 and 5. Both of their cars in the top 5 at the moment, with a Haas of Clan in there. The ripple of Luco and Kais. Kais, we've pretty much we haven't seen much of Kais in this race, but he's done an excellent job as well. So he's done a brilliant job up at this point so far. Well, we have the McLarens of Jones and Black Sharks. Oni is going to be putting all that pressure on Jones this time, in fact, and Oni's going to send it on the inside line of Jones. And on those 5-lap-old mediums, Oni's back up to P5, ahead of the McLaren as they nearly make contact around the outside. It was Oni just in about. Was really difficult. Well, P13 is Elmo right there. Elmo's going to go around the outside of the Williams and the Alpine of Bob. They're going to be side by side. They nearly make contact. Elmo's going to get a 3-second time penalty because of being pushed wide. So he might challenge that on the steward's room, as Elmo's again going to be side by side. It'll be wheel-to-wheel battle between the two. Nab has to back out. And certainly that's going to be Elmo. That's up to P11 and now 8.1 seconds to the car in front. I think Turbo should be coming into the pits within a couple of laps. That could possibly allow Elmo to come into the top 10. And if he does, that's going to be a brilliant one to be able to score points so far. But considering Orimas in P7, Black Sharks in P4, Black Sharks has got an absolute fantastic boost in terms of strategy as well. So Black Shark's done actually an excellent job in these remaining laps. Well, Kais 3.9 seconds to Luco there. Well, Oni is into the pits, and Oni's retired for a moment. I thought he might have crashed, but obviously he has retired in the pits, and Oni has decided to get out of the way, and that's easily and gonna be making it and easy job for Elmo to get into the points and get his chance and things sorted, while the Alpine of Borp, I believe that will be, and that'll be the Alpine of Borp, is nearly almost going to go into the back of Nab there, but these guys doing a decent job while it is dark. Yep, it is dark in P8 so far. Potts in P7 with now not a lot remains to the end of this as well. Up 22 out of 29 so far. So definitely now it's the case of what you want to do and what you will be doing technically in this race so far. I mean, Luco seems okay unless and until Kais could catch up, but then as far as things are concerned, Kais has got a 3-second time penalty as well, so Kais at the moment would just be making sure to stay ahead of Klen, but Klen's just about 2 seconds to Kais now, so a possible P2 for Klen right there, while Black Sharks is down in P4, but he's far, far down the order from those guys. So pretty much he's going to be in a race of his own, while Orimas is now 6 tenths to Black Sharks, to a 4-lap tire deficit to each other. These guys are, so be ready at the next DRS zone, and that should easily allow Orimas to get past. More and more drivers are now getting those time penalties. It's going to be quite difficult at the moment so far, while it is, that could get crazy. Well, Orimas still 4 to 5 tenths between Black Sharks and Orimas there. It could definitely get interesting in terms of if you slightly make a mistake, if you slightly lose the car, or make it a little bit difficult. Meanwhile, one man who is going to be making it difficult for Kais is going to be Glenn. 1.7 seconds just separating the two drivers now to the end of this Qatar Grand Prix. It'll be all about who's going to be coming out at the top, who's going to be coming up at the front of the field. But I think Black Sharks now will be more than ready to defend from Orimas there. Orimas has got a battery to use to get ahead of Black Sharks there. Black Sharks going to go defensive on the inside line with the help of that ERS. Black Sharks going to keep his car on the inside as Orimas is going to go around the outside as he gets past Black Sharks. He'll have the inside line into the next corner. They'll still be side by side. Orimas might run a little bit wide, but he will not. And the move will be done, and the overtake has been done, and ahead of Black Sharks goes Orimas as Orimas gets up to P4. An absolutely epic strategy workout from both drivers, to say the least. Possibly Black Sharks might lose up to his teammate as well, but he's also on 12. His teammate's also on 12-up old hard tires as well, so maybe, just maybe, Black Sharks manages to keep that P5 on track at least because of, because of penalties coming up ahead. And so many drivers have penalties around it, even though we're here around Qatar, which actually is an easy circuit to go off, because obviously, as I said, not many walls closer to the track, a lot of runoff areas, so pretty much almost no gravel traps as well here around the circuit, so a lot of chances, a lot of drivers go off the track. So only about 4 drivers don't have a penalty 5, but I think Ethan is a AI. Well, he himself is not racing. So as far as penalties are concerned in this race so far, 3 seconds to Black Sharks, Kais, Potts, Turbo, Elmo, Whistle, and Jamie, with all 3-second time penalties. Well, 3 seconds or 6 seconds or more penalties. It's to Bob, who now gets it to 21 seconds. Whooping 21 seconds, which was 18 earlier. 21 to Bob, 15 to LN. Then it is 9 seconds to Nab, and then again 15 seconds to Jones as well. So a lot of penalties, and definitely that'll mean one thing, and that'll be the shuffling. A lot of shuffling around the grid as soon as this race ends, would allow, not allow, but certainly be the case of really, those who finished a little bit down the order, or even finishing up the order, would make it difficult for them to keep up their position. So it'll be a lot of shuffling, and those who do not have a penalty would possibly have a big chance of taking those places, while Dark at the moment might be getting past Potts there. Potts in P7, while Dark in at P8. Dark, one of the only drivers who doesn't have a penalty, along with Luco, Glenn, and Orimas, the 4 drivers that are running active in this one without a penalty, as Jones now comes into the pits. Technically pay his penalty, but I don't think his penalty, those track limit penalties, are served in the pit lane. Rather, they're going to have to be having to apply, the penalty will be applied to them. It's a case whether Orimas now comes in the pits or he continues to try and go to the end of this race. One man who is for sure still going to be staying on the track, and that'll be Orimas, to try and take a P4 in this race. Well, Elmo in P8 as well, so definitely you might not be taking that victory or that P3 or a podium in this race. Still, points will be scored for Ferrari, and even though Red Bull and Ferrari have both lost one car each, they're still in the points. Meanwhile, we go back to the top of the timings. Though Kais has a 3-second time penalty, Glenn is still obviously going to try and make sure he gets the move done on the track, because it obviously feels right to do it on the track. And now heading towards turn 1, it'll be Kais versus Glenn. Glenn is just going to switch his car around the outside. They're still almost going to be side by side, but does Kais have enough grip to still stay around the outside or stay within Glenn? Maybe not this time. And only lap separated by these two guys are, so maybe, just maybe, Glenn might just not pull away from Kais there though. As it's lap 27 out of 29, 5.2 seconds, Glenn to our race leader. It is the top two, Luco and Glenn, without a penalty with Orimas. And so looking at this, actually Orimas wouldn't get the podium. I don't think so. No, he will not, because Kais pretty much just has a 3-second time penalty, so that wouldn't affect. But Dark possibly could get a P5 as well. I'm not quite sure, but surely a P5, a P6 is going to be coming up his way. Is Elmo getting past one of the drivers there? I don't think so. That might have been one of the lapped cars, and indeed it would possibly be a lapped car there, while Kai's still within 6/10 of Orimas. There is Kai's going to come back at Orimas into turn 1. No, he's not close enough. You'd have thought maybe there's a chance, as now Dark gets a penalty as well. It'll now mean only 3 drivers that remain without a penalty in this race. Well, I'm not sure if that is the Alpine, and yep, that is the Alpine or Bob. And look at this little bug. Look at that bug on the screen. One tire on his car is white of a hard compound. The other is yellow. I know it is a bug, but what kind of a bug is this? Yes, indeed. The tire on the right side of his car is a hard tire. Obviously, he has medium tires, you can see in the overlay, but this is a never ever seen stuff right here. All 3 other tires are yellow, and his left front tire is white. That is crazy stuff right here. Apart from racing itself, it is the bucks that EA has awarded us with. Interestingly, while Kais now in P3, he's ever closer to Glenn, and really close to Glenn here. I think Glenn last thing Glenn wants is a penalty to his name, so he'd possibly final lap now, so even would let Kais get past him up to P2. Simply stay there. Well, Glenn is going to go around the outside. Maybe he will, but I think possibly the best, simple option will be just stay there. They're going to be side by side, narrowly racing and almost making contact, but the best would be stay there, be where you are, and just let the penalty do its job. Sure, you want to do it on track, but if it's a little bit risky, and then you simply could take the position and overtake it easy on those remaining moments, why not simply let it be? Why not simply get it on 3 cents? These two are still separated by, but that 3-second penalty to Kais, he would be wishing he would never got that. Would be a plot P2, but still, even with that penalty, I think a P3 is not a bad finish at all, while our race leader is now making their way within those last couple of corners, and it'll be the man on your screen. And after many races, for a while it was always Elmo, but not this time. It'll be Lucas Lux who comes over the line to win the Qatar Grand Prix and takes victory ahead of Kais on track in P2, but that P2 is going to go to Glenn because of that penalty. Well, Kyle Skies slots in P4, and Orimas, who also with a qualifying ban at the very bottom of the field he started, is going to finish in P4, while Black Sharks on the track, it'll be P5. Let's see what about the penalties applied. It'll all depend when the penalties are applied with Doc and Elmo, all those drivers within the very back of the race. Almost Elmo overtook Doc there for a moment. Doc's going to get a P6. Elmo's going to get P7 from the bottom of the grid as well. Well, Potts in P8. Jones at the moment in P9, yet to come over the line, take the checkered flag. He has taken the checkered flag, and so has Whistle, but Whistle's going to move away. A double point scoring weekend for Haas, team at Haas there. So that is a brilliant one. Jamie on the track, currently over the line in P11, is going to finish P11. While Nab in the Williams in P12 as well. And the only remaining driver on the track, and that is Turbo, is going to come over the line to take the checkered flag. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this amazing Qatar Grand Prix. And that, the man on your screen, is your winner of this race. So absolutely great racing from these drivers. Always, I think Qatar provides brilliant racing there. And well done from Luco. Gets a brilliant victory by a very good pace. And fantastic pace from him there, right there. And look at that on screen. It is 3 different drivers, 3 different teams on that podium. It's a Red Bull, the junior Red Bull team of Racing Bulls and Haas on top, while it is race winner Luco. Fastest lap goes to Oni. Driver of the day, Black Sharks. He did a fantastic job as well. While Orimas in P, most overtakes as well, finishing P4 from the back of the grid, almost Luco taking that P1. And these are your race results, ladies and gentlemen, here at Qatar. It is Luco wins ahead of Glenn in P2, it Kais in P3, followed by Orimas in P4. Black Sharks, Dark, Elmo, Potts, Whistle, and Jones complete the top 10. Just outside, it was Jamie, Nab, Turbo, Bob, and LN, along with Ethan in P15 and 16, with Oni, Cardiff, and E1, the 3 drivers who did not finish this race. And that's going to be the end of it then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all watching had fun. Hopefully there were not many technical issues. We tried to fix those as quickly as possible. But that's going to be the end of it then, ladies and gentlemen. And from all of us here at Late Breakers Club, myself, Zabe, I was on the commentary mic, and we're out. Adios.